Yo, what's going on, everyone? Welcome back to the channel. It's been a little while, but I had to hop back on the mic and talk about this question, this discussion that has captured the internet, has taken it by storm. You guys have probably heard about it. It's really not a new debate. It's not a new topic. These are questions that have been asked, that have been talked about since really the dawn of time, since the start of mankind. And the question is, who would win in a fight, 100 men or a silverback gorilla? And this is a question that I feel I can give some pretty important input on. Having trained MMA and studied gorillas for the last 5 years, I know what gorillas are capable and I know what humans are capable. So let me break it down for you guys and give you a certified professional analysis. Okay, then you can relax, you can close your eyes. So there are a lot of misconceptions that people have with gorillas, right? People think that they are these unstoppable, invincible, savage beasts, and don't get me wrong, gorillas are powerful, they're fast, they're strong, way stronger than human beings, but they are not King Kong. It is not King Kong out of a movie. Okay, so we have to think about this logically. A lot of people think that a gorilla could just, even chimpanzees, people think that they could just grab your arm or your leg or your feet or whatever it may be and just rip it off your body clean, like it's a piece of bread, right? Just, and they could definitely dislocate it. They could definitely break your arm. They could do a lot of damage to your arm and incapacitate it, but they're not gonna rip you limb from limb. Okay, it's just not gonna happen. Maybe if it's the gorilla's first man he's facing, the first guy that steps up to the plate, and the gorilla takes his arms from both sides and pulls as hard as he can, then maybe he could rip one arm off, kind of partially, but I still don't think he's gonna get all the ligaments and just have one arm just chilling in his hand. I just don't think it's possible. Gorillas are strong and they're powerful, but not that powerful. Okay? And even if they could get one arm off, they have fast twitch muscle fibers. They are built for explosivity and short-term bursts. They are not built for stamina. So gorillas are all or nothing animals. They're not gonna keep some reserves in the gas tank. They're not gonna pace themselves. They're just gonna go all out, fucking batshit crazy. And whatever happens will happen. So that's why I think they would get gassed out pretty quickly, That's why if you look at bodybuilders or people with a lot of muscle, typically they don't have the best stamina, right? Because those muscles require a lot of oxygen. So a gorilla would definitely get gassed out and tired pretty quickly, in my opinion. And then the other thing, people think that gorillas are gonna be strategic, and they're gonna logically break down the fight and incapacitate this dude, incapacitate that dude. That is not the case, because you gotta think about it. These are wild animals. So first of all, if you drop a gorilla surrounded by 100 men, its natural instinct is not going to be to fight. Honestly, it would probably try to run away, even if it's 100 women, right? I think a gorilla could probably take 100 women in a fight, but it wouldn't want to. It would run away because naturally, in its natural habitat, it has never saw something like that, right? Maybe if it was a bear and it was just one thing, maybe the gorilla would want to smoke. But if it's a sea of people, it's just gonna be like, what the hell is this? I need to get out. So you're gonna have to make it fight, right? Unless we're talking about a trained gorilla that has been preparing emotionally, physically, and psychologically for this fight, ways to swing. And like I said, they have fast twitch muscle fibers, so they get gassed out pretty quick, right? There's no doubt that the gorilla is definitely going to take out 20, 30 people probably. But that's a sacrifice they're going to have to make, right? So, and then additionally, people think that gorillas, like there's no way a human could hurt a gorilla. There's nothing we can do to hurt a gorilla. And let me tell you, I disagree with that, because when you look at humans, we can inflict a lot of damage on ourselves, right? Like if you've ever seen an MMA fight, we hit hard, right? We can punch. So if it's just one human punching a gorilla, right? They have big skulls, very tall skulls. Then it would be pretty tough. But if you have multiple people punching it, a gorilla would eventually get dazed. Okay? It would happen. So, let's talk about the strategy then of what the humans would need to do. I think the best logical move, and if we're talking about 100 randomly sampled people, we're going to have some average Joes, a lot of average Joes. We're going to have some Chads in there, some boxers maybe, maybe some overweight people, maybe some skinny people, right? We're going to have a variety. So I think the best option would be to form a chain link fence, lock arms in a circle around the gorilla. Make it look around, make it, question its surroundings, make it scared, keep it on its toes. And then you gotta send in all the less physically imposing people, I guess I could say. Right, you gotta send in the people that can't do a lot of damage to distract the gorilla, maybe run, tire it out a little bit. And like I said, the gorilla's definitely gonna get a dozen or two people, right? Whether that be through biting, punching, probably just, smashing. But once the gorilla is locked onto a couple of people, and you send in the more physically fit people that can punch, that can do damage, and if you get at the legs and you poke at the eyes and you get it off balance, and you punch it and you get around his neck and you just swarm it and overwhelm it, right? I call it the swarm method. That gorilla is not gonna have the stamina to fight back. You can maybe break out of it once, but it is just not gonna have the stamina to fight back. So that's why I think if we're talking about a wild gorilla, there's no doubt in my mind that 100 humans would win. They would just have to swarm it, send out the less physical people first, just take one for the team, swarm the gorilla and punch and gouge the eyes and make it uncomfortable. And I think the gorilla would get tired out. Like I said, it's not King Kong, it is a gorilla. So that's my take on the matter. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. Very hotly contested debate. I think it's a totally different situation if we're talking about a trained gorilla, right? That's been practicing his moves and been running on the treadmill or crawling on the treadmill, has been locked in on his diet. It's been lifting weights. Then we're talking about a serious problem. But if we're talking about a wild gorilla, it's just not gonna know what to do. It's just not gonna know what to do, right? That's how humans evolved to this point. We in groups, strength in numbers, right? If we can take down a mammoth in like a tribe of 10 people, I think we can take out a gorilla with 100 men. So, but like I said, if it's a trained gorilla, then maybe it has a chance. But I'm still ultimately gonna lean with the 100 men, just because it's so much of a number disadvantage. Maybe if you had even 2 trained gorillas, then it's a different story, right? 50 on 1 versus 50 on 1, then I think I might lean towards the gorillas. But we have to be logical in this debate, okay? We have to be logical, right? It's human nature that we like to think of like bears and lions just unstoppable, but gorillas are not invincible. So a male silverback gorilla can weigh between 300 to 500 pounds. Typically weighs 430 pounds with 5 feet tall. So this is a silverback gorilla. And honestly, I wouldn't even want to fight this guy. He looks very friendly and nice. He's kind of cute. So I hope we could just stay friends, really. But yeah, like I said, they're not so big where they're invincible, and they get tired. But I definitely think that there should be a promoter out there that sets this up, right? The people need to see it. The people want to see it. Yeah, look at this gorilla one more time. He's just chilling, eating bananas right now, probably. And then let's look at gorilla strength. Let's see how much they can lift. Adult silverback gorillas, males being 4 to 10 times stronger, and twice the size of females. They can lift up to 10 times their body weight. So a gorilla could lift up to like 5,000 pounds if it's like 500 pounds, which is a lot of pounds. That's a strong ass. Punch force is 2,700 pounds. Bite force is 1,300 pounds per square inch. Almost double a human's, allowing them to crush nuts, vegetation, and stems. Other features: they can tear down banana trees, bend iron bars, and rip small trees and vines from the ground. Yeah, so that's pretty crazy, but I'm still not changing my answer. I'm still going with the humans all day. So that's my take. And yeah, let me know what you guys think. Let me know if you guys disagree or agree. And yeah, I'm gonna make some sounds with this Irish Spring soap bar for a couple minutes, and then I'm gonna end the video here. Hope everyone has a great week. I hope you are all doing well. I actually recorded this video like 3 times already, and for some reason the file gets like corrupted or something. I don't know what's going on, but it's pretty cringe. But alright, I'll see you guys in the next video. Let me know if you guys want to see more ramble style videos, or if you guys want to see more sound videos. I kind of like doing the rambles more, just because I get kind of antsy when I just make sounds. But I'll see you guys in the next video.